he is sexually seducing her, and she's allowing it to happen, right?
I'm going to be completely honest with you, and I'm not trying to be weird or anything. If I had the choice between Keanu Reeves in that role or that sexy motherfucker,
right,
I don't blame her.
Right, yeah. Which
that
one
motherfucker was hot.
Right.
To be honest with you.
Which one you going for, right? The guy with the glasses and the long hair, and he got poetry.
I mean, like
every
the way
time he talked to her was poetry.
I'm
my
Prince.
love, I have ridden 1,000 years.
Then he got that passion, so he's probably gonna put something on.
Like, why would you
His meat's been hard for 1,000 years. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Steak and Sauce Podcast. This is the baddest podcast in the land. This is episode 43, all right? And I know how y'all are. If I see one comment that says, Derek and Antonio got the same clothes on. We're not dirty. We're just hustling, okay? We'll let y'all figure it out. Y'all know who I am. I'm one of your hosts, Derek Nowlin, a.k.a. Mr. Meat to Meat, a.k.a. You Owe Me a Check, a.k.a. Keep My Foot on Your Neck. To the left of me, we got AC. We're going to leave it at that.
Thank you.
We don't want to get into too much. We have Hannah and Taylor from the Weird Side Podcast back on the show today. Let's give it up for them.
Thank you.
Yes,
Very
sir.
thankful for you guys being here.
Thanks
I
for
know
having
if
us.
you're a loyal fan and a follower, you can go back and we'll reference that episode. And if you want to have a good place to start, I recommend that episode. It was great. These are the people that I lean on when I want to know all the things about horror movies and stuff that I don't know that interest me but scare the shit out of me.
And
at
just
the same
weird
time.
shit in general.
Just weird shit.
We got you.
Just weird shit in general. You know, I was going to ask, when I came on yours guys' podcast, we'll plug theirs. Check out the Weird Side Podcast. All right. They do great things. When we filmed our episode, somebody put something out about that damn Denver, Colorado airport again. Something else has happened there, and I don't know what's going on, but we'll get into that in a second, all right? Before we get too far, put that burger down, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so you can be included on all the fire content that we're going to put out that your baby mama sneaks and watches, okay? And I know that she does, all right? Also, we're still probably around 36% of our fans, of the people love and support us that are not subscribed. We're going to keep trying to ingrain this in everybody. Please check. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit that button. Hit that notification bell. It doesn't cost you anything, but you are supporting the baddest podcast in the land, and we won't forget about you when we make it big. Tonio will, because he's going to leave all of us. So he already told me that's his plan. We also got Weston in the building. He's always there. And like I said before, I'm going to keep saying this on the show. We're going to plug something in. He sits on that side because everybody on this side is dumb. So he doesn't like when I say that, but I think it's hilarious. He shakes his head every time. I think it's funny. So how have y'all been doing?
We've been doing pretty good.
Doing pretty good. Getting ready for Australia coming up pretty soon.
Oh, damn.
Y'all told me that. Okay, talk about that a little bit.
Woo. Well, we recently had a little scare with that, but basically this trip has been planned for well over a year.
Wow.
I have people ask me all the time, how can you afford to go to Australia? Man, I'd love to make the money you're making. Well, the thing is, I don't make a whole lot of money, but I don't have children. So I have extra
helps.
income to
Yeah, that
save for
helps.
stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
It's been in the works for a while. But anyway, I've had to hire a travel agent because it's such a big trip. And I didn't know if you guys knew this or not, but some countries, a passport does not suffice to enter the country. Sometimes certain countries will require you to have a visa in addition to a passport.
I knew that.
So we applied for ours on July 10th, and I got approved for mine, like, immediately. And so I just assumed Taylor did too.
I was sitting here.
I
looked at it. I was like, mine hadn't come yet. I was like, no, but they might take a little bit of my time to get mine. About a month later, still haven't got it. So I was like,
Hey, by the way, I haven't gotten approved
I
for
don't
mine
think I
yet.
got mine yet. And
Right.
she was like, well, let me go back. And
Listen to what I did, y'all.
I'll explain. It was easy to do, but we went back and we were going through the questions. She accidentally put yes, that I was a convicted felon.
Oh, God.
And then I had been charged for domestic violence. I was like,
Well, damn.
Fuck.
Yeah, buddy, they got you under review.
I said, no wonder they didn't approve mine.
They gonna kick in the door any minute, and we got you on here.
Yeah.
So our travel agent was like, it's okay, just fill out another one. And actually, I went back and did it again. I see how she made that mistake.
Yeah.
The first half of the questions, yes is on top, no is on bottom. Halfway through, they switch them. So no is on top, yes is on bottom.
Wow.
That's what happened. I was like,
So
Okay.
I think that's a ploy. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean,
think they do
honestly-
that on purpose.
So, of course, I'm in panic mode for like 24 hours straight. But the next day, it took me like an hour. I had to go reapply for the visa again for him. And this was a lot more expensive of a visa, which I think is a tactic they use. But anyway, so I filled out the entire application, which is pretty extensive. And then I had to require additional documentation. I sent them our itinerary for our trip to prove that we are temporarily going to be in Australia.
Damn.
I sent them a pay stub from Taylor's job to show that he has a full-time job where we live.
Yep.
We're not
Is that
moving
to prove
over
I
there,
wasn't like a criminal. Like I had a job. I had no reason to go there and like
live there.
leave there and do crimes and stuff. So
And then there was a certain addition to the extensive application. There was a form I had to fill out on top of that. And then I even typed a cover letter. And I guess my hard work paid off because it was the next morning. Taylor showed me the email and we were granted permission.
you ever need a professional paper typed up?
That's right. When you mentioned cover letter, I was like,
me
okay,
tell you something.
I've written a few of those. So like,
I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes I think I'm a piece of shit. When she like writes out my resume, I'm like, damn, I'm a good guy.
Yeah, hey, she makes you sound like, look, you overqualified for the position. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
It's a play on words, right?
I always love to
I
write.
spent like 4 hours on the phone with the Australian government. Like, what do I do?
Right.
And
Now,
their
What
accent-
city are y'all traveling to?
Sydney.
Sydney.
Oh, Sydney.
So-
That's beautiful. I heard it's beautiful.
I heard it's beautiful
I'm
too.
so excited.
One of the guys who is solely responsible for me kind of having the dream to start all this, shout out Queen's Flip, when he was running his live shows late at night, there was a lady from Australia. Her handle was Mommy Blogger, all right? And she would get on his live and they would joke back and forth all the time. And I remember her distinctly because of her accent.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I started really watching, shout out to Queens, some of his stuff because Mommy Blogger, whoever she is,
Mm-hmm.
will come out at nighttime and she'd get on there and she'd be telling him about the way that their groceries and stuff were and the way they'd have to do certain stuff and how these koalas carry syphilis or something like that.
Chlamydia.
He
Right.
taught me that. I didn't know
You know,
that.
Yeah. I don't think it's a type that you can give to humans.
No, but it is essentially the same thing. I think
Yeah.
90% of koalas have it in certain areas.
Wow. Somebody touched a koala, and that's how this all started.
See, I felt so stupid because I told Taylor, I was like, I want to hold a koala. He's like, baby,
At
you
your
do
own
realize.
damn, at your own damn
Everybody
risk.
is
had
watching
no
me. You going to the
idea.
Outback? Are you doing this?
Right.
Hell no.
no. I ain't going to
Yeah, we're
Outback.
calling Crocodile Dundee, and we're going to get him to tie a rope around that damn wombat thing. He's got whoop, 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 make those sounds. You know, it used to be one of my favorite movies.
Was it?
Yeah, Crocodile Dundee because he had the big ass Bowie knife.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
she
we're-
was
But
straight.
we're also, in addition to going to Sydney, we are doing a cruise down there. And have y'all ever seen the live action Scooby Doo, like 2000 Scooby Doo?
No, I
With
haven't.
Matthew Lillard and
Now
stuff like that.
the Scooby Doo movie that I watched the other night when I was at home, it had adult actors in those costumes, but they were not chasing ghosts.
Well, I think it's a different website you can find that Scooby Doo movie on.
I figured you'd appreciate that.
Jinkies, there's a mystery.
Thelma was thick as fuck, and she lost her glasses, and they rolled up under the table. And when she went, that little orange skirt popped up, boy. She had ham, boy. I was like, God, dog. I didn't know how to really feel, but
Shaggy, what would you do for a Scooby snack?
Shaggy looked Shaggy. You know, his hair was all over the place. He had a fucking forearm for a dong. The Daphne was it the other girl in the white? She came over and she was all skinny and stuff, and she was a freak. So that shit. Listen, when I talk about Scooby Doo, that's what I saw. Scooby Doo, where are you? You know what I'm saying? Now it might be a little different. Now, what are y'all talking about? This live action?
So in
It
this,
was live.
in this movie, they go to an island called, quote, Spooky Island, but really it's called Tangalooma Island. And it's
Tangaluma.
Tangalooma. And it's in Australia.
That's where they were at the other night. Tangaluma.
Or the less funny sounding name is Morton Island.
Morton. Wasn't no blacks in that video though.
But but we're actually cruising to that island. So
I think
we're
we're going
excited.
snorkeling and an underwater scooter tour. You know what
Yeah,
it is?
yeah.
You know those things like you hold on to underwater?
Oh,
You like
Not
through
that.
the-
Yeah.
We're
Not
taking a
that
tour
underwater
through that.
Oh
snorkeling.
Lord.
Hey, I want to let y'all know I was being creepy and I went on y'all's Facebook page because I wanted to see me and somebody that I know wanted to see where y'all took that trip. Look at Weston. wanted to see where y'all took that trip in Mexico, where everybody was in that beautiful water swimming and shit. Where was that at?
Playa del Carmen or Cancun, Mexico.
Cancun. Okay.
Let me tell you something.
All right.
You want an affordable vacation?
Yes.
That's amazing. That one.
That one.
Now,
All
this was
Was it all inclusive?
This was it's probably more expensive now because it was at the height of COVID when we went.
Yeah.
But for me and her, including airfare, the resort, and the resort was everything.
All you can
Transportation,
eat,
food,
unlimited
shows,
drinks.
everything. Unlimited. Margaritas from 10 a.m. till 10 a.m. Oh,
Whenever.
they'll bring them to you. You don't have to get up.
I had 2 margaritas a couple weeks ago and I was a different person.
I know. For all that,
Yep.
for me and her, $1,500.
That ain't bad at all.
What?
And we were there.
We're going tomorrow.
We were there for like, what, 5 or 6 days?
Yeah.
Weston's like, no, the hell you ain't. You owe me
Ironically,
money.
that's where I proposed to her at.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I'm
that's where I
sorry.
proposed to her at. I got her. We did a professional photo shoot on the beach.
Yeah.
And I got down and proposed, and the photographer was like, "You did that too quick. You were too this." I'm like,
He missed it?
You
"No,
were
no."
quick.
I told
Yeah.
him, I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah, real hard.
at you, and that means get ready." And I looked at him and went, and I got down, and I was nervous as hell, but I was like, "Will you marry me?" And he's like, "My friend, you were a little too quick."
I hired you. Don't tell me I do this shit.
But
I'm nervous, man.
I literally looked away for 1 second, looked back, and he was on his knee. Like, it was quick.
You was like,
Yeah. I was kind of
And then she pulled out the Respucia from Norbert. She's like, "Get your
Get
ass up and hold my hand."
right.
I love
Now,
Norbit.
I know that's not a horror movie, but that movie scares the shit out of me because Respucia
Show a
was
bit,
unstoppable.
go down
She
the
was running through walls.
Yep.
She was
Yep.
popping up, and he couldn't get away from her ass.
I'm gonna show you how to bitch go down.
Yeah.
the slide.
Yeah, sounds like yeah. That scene where they were doing the her personal trainer in the gym.
Yes.
Oh God, yeah.
Marlon Williams.
And 1, 2,
Wait,
3,
so
4,
Yeah,
5,
looked like
6.
he had that microphone in his shit. Yeah,
That was one of the Wayans brothers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the
Marlon. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're so funny.
so
Hilarious.
funny. So, real quick, during the week, I find something that entertains me a lot. I can't remember if Tonio sent me. Yes, he did. Tonio sent me about 6 videos one night, and I literally stayed up knowing I had to go to work watching these videos because they were absolutely hilarious.
It
Y'all may
happens.
have seen this. We
Oh,
want
I
to
can't
share it
wait.
with you to get y'all's reaction. So we'll run that video right quick.
Which one is? I love this.
I have not seen this, but it already looks good.
God, no. I can't hear. Yeah. Let me tell you something. I'm fucking wild.
I'm Jason the goddamn Chainsaw Fields, and I'm from the fucking 606, bub. Fuck
Look
all
like-
you 304 motherfuckers. Let me tell you something, the loose war. I'll twist every one of you goddamn wires, Bubby. And let me ask you something. What you doing drinking them goddamn natty lights, Bubba? You getting them off your fucking social security check, motherfucker? I work as a goddamn lineman, motherfucker. And let me tell you something, you punk motherfucker. I'll fucking fuck you, mommy. I'll fuck your sister. I'll fuck you goddamn wife. And I'll fuck you up, man. I'm sure this motherfucker right here. And let me ask you something. How many goddamn last names are there in West Virginia? 3 of them? Because every one of you motherfucking punks is related.
Damn. You know what that reminds me of?
What?
A typical day at my job. In booking.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
How many of you? All of you's related.
He's a 3.
You know, you know he thinks he's bad when he went.
That little wrinkle.
When he crushed that fucking, shout out to Heath, when he crushed that T on his head, he said, let me tell you something else, Bubby. He said, I'll fuck your wife, I'll fuck your mommy, I'll fuck your sister, and then I'll fuck you up. I literally watched that video. Y'all know me, I ain't got no sense. I watched it 100 times.
It's like 30 of them, and they're all hilarious.
Yes, and one dude was doing push-ups in the grass. Like it was hilarious. Like, one dude said, your mama raised a bitch, your daddy raised a bitch. Tonio sent me all these. I was in Tears not watch that. And shout out to my buddy. I'm gonna plug him right quick. If you know Eric Lawson
Yeah.
from the garage,
Yeah.
does that not look like him? That,
I'm not gonna say
he's
that.
shout out to my boy Eric. Eric, I thought that was you for a minute, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Hey, and the funny thing is, he said, I'm a damn lineman.
Yeah.
He kept pulling his pants up. That dude should be on every radio show in America.
August 19th.
August 19th, yeah.
In Charleston, West Virginia.
He'll beat the shit out of me. Let's go. Can we go and watch it?
Can you imagine if he gets to that fight and loses?
Oh my God.
If you talk that much shit.
Yeah, some of the people that they have fighting, I don't even know where they got these people from.
Is this rough and rowdy?
606 and 304.
Yeah, Kentucky
I think
versus.
Kentucky
okay.
versus
Never
West
mind.
Virginia.
Yeah.
Oh
And
gosh.
this is some of the funniest shit, and they don't even know they're funny.
Yeah.
That dude was speaking from his heart.
Oh,
I thought he was for real.
Oh, no,
badass.
he
Well-
was dead serious.
Well, he might have needed a few beers to get to that, but yeah, he was.
I'll twist your goddamn. Him pulling his pants up is what got me, because that's
Yeah.
how you know you're serious.
I would have took him a little bit more seriously if it wasn't a twisted tea.
Twisted
Punch in the
teas,
chest
yes.
got me.
Hey, McAdoo's, sponsor us. They got Twisted Tea on tap now. Yes, you can get you a damn pitcher if you need it. Yeah, shit's crazy. But so why is I feel like y'all are trying to go to Antarctica or something with all these red tape y'all got to jump through. Why is that like that? And that's Australia, because they're a part of
I know since COVID happened, they've gotten a lot more strict.
a lot more strict.
But
Well, someone pointed this out. It's kind of ironic that it's so hard to get in Australia and they're so anti-criminal, yet, and I suck at history, so this is what someone told me. In history, that's where they shipped all the convict Brits that they didn't want in the UK is over to Australia.
Well, UK owned them for a hot minute.
Yeah. But then they're
Shout
like,
out to
so,
Antonio with the
good job, Antonio. I suck at
That's
history.
good shit, bro. Even Weston shook his head at that. You know it's good when he co-signs you. You know what I'm saying?
But
Good
like,
shit.
you're going to do
I
that,
play
but
dumb.
then...
We ain't just dumb, boy. Yeah.
I mean, I respect it because like, hey, taking care of their streets, I totally understand it, man.
So
Which
they
I
can't
can't.
even carry like knives and stuff like that, can
I don't know about knives, but
Yeah.
guns is definitely a no.
Guns is definitely no. Yeah, I couldn't
Definitely
live in
no.
Australia.
Yeah.
'cause of
They
it.
also don't do tipping over there. So if you tip, like that's considered disrespectful. You don't do that over there.
Shit, I wish.
Japan too. We're thinking about doing Japan at some point. in the
I want to
future.
Have
go
y'all thought about New Zealand since it's right underneath
It's
that?
beautiful there.
That's what I heard.
I honestly
I
thought
want to
about
go
it.
to New Zealand because they got some. You know what I'm saying?
Well-
Like, hey,
Fair warning, we were actually doing our episode before we came on here
Yeah.
where we review Evil Dead, the remake,
Yeah.
Evil Dead Rise, and Army of Darkness. And
Army of Darkness hilarious.
yes,
Yeah.
but
love
both
that.
of those latter Evil Dead films were filmed in New Zealand.
Really?
So don't be reciting any
feel like
incantations
It's
or
right,
nothing.
yeah, we're not going.
I
Yeah,
feel like everything's filmed in New Zealand.
it really is.
Lord of the Rings,
Yeah, I was
Evil
like,
Dead,
yeah,
like-
Lord of the Rings filmed in New Zealand.
know when
yeah.
you get on a plane to go to New
a lot of
Zealand?
a lot of the castles and stuff
Yeah.
that they were able to use, they got permission for are shots from New Zealand.
Damn, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
You know, when you
Yeah.
get on a plane to go to New Zealand, you know, like the air videos that they play for you to like, this is how you do it, like the safety when you put the stuff on.
Yes,
They do it with Lord of the Rings characters. I'm dead serious.
really.
Look it up. Yeah.
I would love that.
It's like Gandalf, and he's like telling you, "All right, if your plane's gonna crash, put your head down."
Between your legs.
Oh,
Yeah.
Seriously,
God.
when
Yeah.
it's Gandalf.
That's hilarious. I was just watching Lord of the Rings the other night, and I'm gonna just say this one part, and we'll get into the rest. So you know the part, I think it's the unexpected journey, because I have all 6 discs. Well, they meet the wizard in the woods. It's like all batshit crazy because birds are shitting in his hair and stuff like that. Right? So he gets. You know what I'm talking about.
No, don't.
They make fun of him. All the rest of the wizards make fun of him because they think he's all zooted, right? So Gandalf is talking to him, and he's like, I'll lead. He was on a little wooden sled with these huge rabbits, and he says, I'll lead them away from you. And Gandalf says, those are Gundabog, or whatever they were, walks or whatever. And he's like, they'll outrun you. And he says, these are something rabbits. I'd like to see him try. The very next scene is him going, screaming, and these rabbits, dude, are ripping through the countryside, and those dams are, the orcs are chasing him. My guilty pleasure, I kept rewinding that where he screams like 15 times, just watching that over and over again. It was hilarious. So The shit that I find funny. I don't know why. And then when what's the lady's name that was talking to Gandalf? Mithrandil.
It's been a long
Liv
time.
Tyler.
Yeah. No. The sorceress. She was like, "Do not fear. If you need me, I'll be there." And then when she wargs out, she's talking to one of the dwarves, and she's like, she's all blue in the face and shit. Y'all know what I'm talking about?
It's been a long time since I
Okay,
watched
well,
it.
anyways.
I was more of a Hobbit guy than a Lord of the Rings. That's just me, though.
Yeah, that's cool.
just me, though.
That's cool. That franchise is just ridiculous. Yeah. So today we wanted to dive into a few things we couldn't last time. We've got some updates real quick though. How is the weird side going?
Yeah, I want to know about that.
We haven't gotten sponsored yet,
Right.
but we're looking into that when we come back from our trip.
Yeah.
But it's been fun. We just
Awesome.
we got like our schedule down, and we're getting ready to come out with I think our 11th or 12th episode.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Give it up for that.
Got your own merch and everything. They got their merch.
My
and everything.
stepmom,
Hey.
my stepmom and dad actually wanted to say that their favorite episode was with you on it. With the
conspiracies.
Oh yeah,
Really?
everybody I've talked to, yeah, that's my favorite episode. I'm
We
like,
need to get
that's
Antonio
love.
too to
That's
come
love.
on.
Yeah, we need Antonio.
I want-
no.
I want
We
my
talked
brother
about that. Your
Yeah.
brother and
you
Antonio.
and-
Yes. Yes.
What's he talking
Because
about?
everything I said, he was like, his brother the whole time, and he was like, I kind of agree with you, but and then he
But-
dropped some like real life shit on me, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm sorry.
He's
Yeah.
very analytical.
My
Like,
brother,
Yeah.
dude, my brother has ruined every movie, anything. I love you. I say this with love,
He's an awesome guy. Yeah.
but we can for example, I'm trying to think of a movie off the top of my head, but like American Sniper or something.
Yes.
You know that scene where he shoots that guy over a mile away?
Yeah.
He's like,
We'd
do
watch
it.
that, and it's like a really powerful scene. He'd be like, "Actually, that's factually and wrong.
Yeah,
That is nearly impossible because the wind, the trajectory, and the gravity."
and he'd have to aim 15 feet above his head to hit center mass on his chest, which is true. You know what I'm saying? At that distance, you know what I'm saying?
we have a running joke whenever something Evan might say, we'll put up our glasses and go, "Actually."
Shout out to Cody, our other buddy Cody. He does his hands like this, and he'll say,
wasn't he on our last episode? Or was that
"No,
somebody else?
Cody was on Bodie Bing. Which one was he on? Shout out Bodie Bing. I forget
Damn.
which episode he's on, but he always puts his hands. You know the power symbol.
Yeah.
Oh
He
yeah.
always does his hands like
I was
that.
thinking a boy.
Because he's a Toyota technician. That's why he can do that. He knows everything.
Hey, I got a Toyota. We're a Toyota family.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Shout out y'all's merch. Show that right quick. Let y'all, they got their merch on
Weird side.
Weird Side Podcast, and that's where you can find them at. Go ahead and give them a subscribe as well. I had an absolute blast when I was on that episode with y'all. I had so much fun because this is all the shit that intrigues me when I'm off air. The shit that I think about, that I reach out to them and I'll share some TikTok, which is 100% factual, with them. So there was a guy, he got close to the ice wall, and we all know Asgard is right across the fucking ice wall. So he got close to it, and I'm not lying. He had a big fisher's boat that was pretty powerful. All right, so you know how dark the water is, like in Antarctica?
Oh, absolutely.
Out of nowhere, a giant wave that looked like somebody just took their hand and just moved a massive amount of water 20 feet in the air was coming for his boat.
Was it an engine?
He floors it, right? And somebody wrote in the comments, he got too close.
What's that mean?
An ice
Where?
to getting around that damn wall. To figure out where all these other outlying lands are that they don't want us to know about, where there's other civilizations.
An engine, man. Maybe that's the guard to it. You ever heard of that?
And that's the guard to it. And if something were to generate a wave, you know how heavy water is. An iceberg, half of that wall would have had to fall in the water. And if it did, it wouldn't have looked like that, right? It would have sunk, and then you'd have got some splash. This rose like something generated it. Like, you ever seen the water parks where they have that big weight or that train that rides through the water and creates that wave? That's what that looked like, but it wasn't a fucking train. So what was that?
I don't have a clue.
This is just me thinking out loud, but you ever heard of the bloop?
Yes.
Oh, that freaks me out. I ain't gonna lie.
And they don't know what it was?
Right.
You think that was from the ice wall?
It was either the ice wall or it was one of those damn monsters from Pacific Rim that came through the fucking portal that's going to come up here and fuck us up. Kaijun. And we're going to need these damn people to operate these robots. Yes.
I actually have a kaiju in my arm. I just got
Yeah,
these,
you gotta
actually, the Pennywise
that's dope.
thing.
I was going to ask you about the Pennywise thing. Yeah, that's dope. That movie wouldn't have lasted too long because as soon as I bent down and seen his ass in there, I'd have busted his ass. So, yeah, so that damn Kaijun, yeah, that shit's ridiculous. I don't know what created that. I should have brought up that video on this segment. That would have been great. But what we look like on time, because I definitely want to dive into. Oh, we're great. So let's start with our movie review of recently since. And before I say this, spoiler alert: if you have not seen The Red Door,
I seen it last night. Watched it last night.
Yeah.
I think it was all right.
some of the shit I gotta say.
I
respect
respect
it.
it.
The best.
I respect it.
If you have not seen it, spoiler alert, we're about to dive deep into it. So if you don't want to hear about it, just fast forward a little bit, but watch this whole fucking episode, okay? For real. And then, so we're going to dive into it. So first, I'd like to get, y'all are the experts, right? What was y'all's reaction to The Red Door?
You go first.
I liked it.
Okay.
Would I rate it as the best one of the series? No. But I thought it was damn good.
Yeah.
I loved how they brought back the original cast.
Yes.
And I liked the plot of the film, although arguably some points of it were kind of weak. But I still like the concept of everything. The jump scares were damn good. He is hard to get, and even got him a couple times.
Yeah, got Amanda a couple times last night.
Yep.
The freaking X-ray.
Yes.
I was like,
Hey, I'm
can
not
just
getting no
feel-
more MRIs done.
That, yeah.
that was good.
And the orchestra in horror movies, they key up. You know when it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know when it's about to happen. I told everybody, one of my fan theories is one of those demons came through. His wife was caught in that middle ground. She had an affair with a demon. That's why they broke up. Maybe. You know?
Yeah, I was
You know?
I was sad to
Demon
see
dick.
it that way when it opened up. I was sad to see that they divorced.
Right, yeah. I'll tell you why they
Dude,
did.
But-
Think about I'm gonna be honest with you. She was a horrible person. Think about it.
Yeah, she was.
Her husband and son went through something so traumatic.
Yes.
Okay. And I get that she couldn't tell him. Like, I get that. But he was distant not because he didn't love you. It was because you erased how much of his memory?
Just
Oh,
a year.
when
It
she-
was only a year though.
Still.
Right, up
Like,
for
and
that
he
time.
just felt empty. And you know, it's not because he doesn't love you. It's because he went through this horrible thing. I'm going to divorce you anyway.
She tried
She
I
did
think
him
she-
dirty.
I think she did it because the kids were asking
Yes.
so many questions. That's why
Yes.
she did all that.
And it got too hard.
yeah, it got
because-
too hard on her.
I'm just going to parent solo now. You know, 'cause it's easier.
Well, it's
than
better
just-
than your kids dreaming and
Lying
having
to your
nightmares
parents.
about
Yeah.
your dad trying to kill you. Like,
Daddy, there's
Right.
some big dick demon that keeps running down the hallway. That's why they were scared.
Like, and he's just like, I don't feel like myself. I don't feel like this. And like, you can't tell me she's not like,
but wasn't it
It was
her
hard.
mother's idea as well, or was it his mother's idea?
His mother's
All right,
idea.
yeah.
I just
Yeah.
feel like she did him dirty a little bit.
I guess.
Just a little bit.
I mean, it
But
seems
I
that
think
way.
it helped him out, to be honest.
So you feel like her bringing in this person to kind of do this work on his mind,
Him and the son.
and him and the son,
They,
they kind of like MIB, like whoop.
yeah,
like,
they
wipe
watched
the
that.
shit.
They watched that year away, so they couldn't remember the whole year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and didn't they incorporate the scene from the basement only in this movie? So we didn't find out that he tried to kill them until this movie, right?
No,
No,
it's
the
in
first
second-
film.
Yeah, it's in the middle.
It's a reenactment from the first film.
Oh, I didn't watch
It's just
it.
explaining why they have Dalton and his dad have a strained relationship because
Yeah.
Dalton only remembers what he can is that his dad tried to kill them,
Yeah.
or not necessarily his dad, but I think he just has an idea of someone tried to kill them and he ties it with his dad. But then later, I think he has a realization that it was in fact his dad. And
So he was trying to do that through the painting.
Painting, yeah.
I thought it was a
Yes.
demon, but as he went forward,
yeah.
he started to give him more characteristics. And then when he finally realized that's who that was.
Mhm.
All right, so let me ask y'all something.
Mhm.
I was in the movies on a date, right?
We know what happened in the movie theater.
I told her, I said, you know, the screen messes with my eyes sometimes. So I got to wear these sunglasses.
You told me about this.
Now, it wasn't the fact that I needed the sunglasses because when I close my eyes, I don't want you to see I got them closed, right? She was totally fine with it though. But I know when some shit was about to happen because the whole theater gets silent and then they go like the orchestra
Yep.
key up. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And everybody would and everybody would jump, and I'd just be there like this.
Oh my God.
I didn't even see it. I didn't need that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going home by myself. I didn't need that shit.
He's like me on Tower too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? There's only certain parts of that movie that I actually saw, and none of them was the scary shit. Okay, I can tell you how it sounded. Like when old buddy came through the bay window in the living room, got on his ass.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah, damn, boy, it's broad daylight. You know?
He kept creeping up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more and more.
That was
Well,
good.
Yeah.
I
you,
like that.
you mentioned score. 2 things I want to point out.
Yes.
Number 1, they do bring back Tiptoe Through the Tulips. They bring back that song.
I hate that fucking song.
Yeah,
I
they
was
bring
eating
that
wings
back.
the other night, and guess what they played?
Tiptoe
I'm like, who the
through
fuck-
the tulips. That is creepy
Who had that on their
ass.
fucking playlist in PKs in Blacksburg?
Someone fucked up.
Yeah, big time. I was waiting for somebody to come through and start fucking shit up, really. So
And the other thing is, so I remember when we were leaving the theater that the end credits song came on, and I was like, I'm kind of getting into this, and we're walking out, and I'm listening. I'm like, that kind of sounds like Ghost, and I couldn't quite place it there. I'm like, nah, because the voice isn't already there. And then by the time we left, I was like, that is definitely Ghost. And so later, I looked up the song because I was like, I like that, and turns out it was Ghost featuring Patrick Wilson, aka the dad in the movie. So he collabed with Ghost and made that song. It's called Stay. Check it out. It's
Good song.
awesome.
Very good song.
I think it's
wow,
awesome.
so he's a damn artist too.
And this was actually, I think, his debut directional movie. So this is the first film that he was a director on, I believe.
So, thank you for sharing that. Y'all go check that out. I started, my humor is crazy. I start busting out laughing in the beginning of the movie because the first opening thing before it goes in, you see that punk ass red demon sticking out to the side. He's like, ah. So I start
Gets
laughing
every time.
because I imagine him screaming, right? Why is a fuck? Who is they? Who is he?
He's supposed to be like a demon.
Okay.
I don't think he's the actual devil, but I think he is a demon
He is a demon.
in that realm.
And he has so many human characteristics, right? In the first one, he was up there sharpening his claws. This one, he's eating something, flesh.
Which makes me question if he once was a human.
Right. And maybe him being in that world changed him into this demonic.
I thought demons were never humans, like at all.
There's some people who say that, and I don't really know the full truth on that because some people do say that.
Right.
Actually, a lot of people say that, but not necessarily in other people's views. But the fact that he has human-like characteristics, and even in the first film, remember he was making on that that needle machine where he was making sewing and shit like that. Those are definitely signs that he might have been a human. And also in the Further, which is the world that they live in, all you see are old souls where they were once human that are stuck there.
Very true.
And he's there too.
Right. And
So
and in this movie, The Red Door, the Further, it was getting closer, right? Because some of that stuff was coming out, and this guy's kind of warging out, like Bran from Game of Thrones, right? He's putting himself into these places and interacting with these ghosts and stuff like that. So is this red-headed punk ass demon the one that was sending out these people to him? Does he control them?
I think they all kind of just
Do their own
on
thing.
do their
Okay.
own thing.
yeah.
in my
Because
opinion.
I thought it was some symbolism at the end when the son had opened the gate to the door because he drew about it. But him drawing over it, right, gave him peace, and it sealed that door in that world. So was that something that you feel like, so that demon is now trapped back there? Because and I know I'm getting ahead. At the end, he sees that old lady. She's dead, right?
Elise, I
Right?
don't think she is dead.
The
I
girl
don't
that
think.
was
The
doing
medium.
the medium.
The old lady?
She
think
died.
I don't think she died.
Oh,
She
shit.
died in another movie because didn't she get her?
I think
Somebody
she
killed her.
I think she almost died, right?
Okay, I don't know.
You remember Antonio?
I thought she was dead.
I thought she was dead because when I saw initially in the movie when he looked up and saw somebody in the background, I thought it was that the man dressed up as a woman again.
That's the second one, yeah.
Okay, now I'm gonna ask y'all about that. But then at the end of this movie, he's talking to her, and she's like, there's time or whatever. And then he looks back, she's gone. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
'cause
you're
she
right,
says-
you're right.
She says keep a steady stride.
Keep it safe stride. Like,
That's
don't,
right,
don't
that's
stop
right.
because they're still
Yeah.
coming. I feel like when he went down there to that door, his son helped seal it, but Buddy's still stuck.
Yeah. By the way, Evan critiqued that ending so bad.
That's what I want to get into. I have no problem with happy endings,
I love
but
him.
sometimes it's not realistic. Sometimes
Yeah.
you need an ending because that's just life.
Yeah.
Life is not always happy endings. And my brother pointed this out, and I totally agree with him 100%. This is how it should, in my opinion, have happened. Whenever the dad is like holding the door shut and his son is sitting there watching him, like, and that demon is beating on the door,
Yeah.
his dad should have died holding the door shut.
Because
And
all
then
that
His dad, the one that's on the other side, the further, should have held it from the other side. So he had two family members, one in the further holding the door shut, and his dad on the other side holding the door shut, and be like, "Go on, son, live."
trying not to let
You sound
that
like your
demon-
brother right now. Evan
You
said the
can't tell
same
me
thing.
that would've
He
been
was
a
like,
better ending.
Evan just
Yeah.
spoke through him.
Evan was like, it would have been such a better movie if he would have died.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. That
So-
way, he has a person on the outside and the inside holding that door shut.
Right.
That where no one can ever get to him again, and he just lives his beautiful life
Right. Without fear of that.
without
damn-
fear of it.
Now,
That would have been a better.
his
ending.
grandfather, who you're speaking about,
Mhm.
is stuck in the further, getting his ass whooped every day.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that dude's dad, when he saw the file, schizophrenia and all that shit, his dad had been seeing that demon long before he did.
Mhm.
So that's why he's got that,
Mhm.
and they hid that from him. So his dad is somewhere way back in the further, like you said, in this world,
He's in
and
the
we
further.
haven't seen him.
Right. Which possibly leads me to believe that in the future, maybe there's going to be another movie out.
I got
Possible.
a fan theory. His daddy's that damn redheaded demon.
Could be. Who knows?
Could very
You know?
well.
No, he let him out. When he dropped the light, that was him giving his life back to get back to his son. So I don't think that was.
No, I'm talking about his father.
Yeah, his father helped him get out.
Hold
Are you
up.
talking about the main character's dad?
No, the main character's dad, when he found out that his dad had all these premonitions and
Yeah, and he
Yes.
killed himself. He jumped off the building and killed himself.
The 70s looking guy.
Yeah, so when he was holding the door, the son painted the picture.
Right.
And then when he got out, he was in the darkness. His dad came up
right,
and dropped the light to let him out. That's what gave him life because I think he was dying in the chair.
he was dying.
Yeah, he was
dead.
dying in the chair.
was
And then his
Right.
father came and gave him the light, and that's how he got out.
So his dad's still stuck down there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Damn.
So his dad, he was going to sacrifice himself for his son, but his dad did it to him.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So his dad's still down there fighting for his life,
Ew.
screaming every night, and they're up here eating pizza and shit. You know his daddy's mad as hell. You know them demons is whipping his ass. It's one old man versus all them demons down there.
Yeah, but he's probably think he's doing something for his son because he's been out of his life for the past. He said like he's been dead for 40 years and he's been searching.
So he
for
killed
him.
himself because he didn't want to live with that
Yeah,
shit
he
in
didn't
his
want to
head
deal with
no
it
more.
anymore.
I think there's one important lesson that this movie teaches all of us.
Yeah.
Don't sweep shit under the rug.
Facts.
Yep.
Deal
Y'all
with
better
it.
talk. If my wife's getting dicked down by some freaky demon, I want to know about the shit. Okay, don't let that split our family up. As long as he pays a bill or two around here, I don't give a damn what he does. Right? What if your wife was getting dicked down by a demon?
I don't.
Would you want to
First
know?
of all, I'm not
It's gonna be like. Is it gonna be like a haunted house kind of a dick down by a demon?
Huh?
You ever seen Haunted House
No.
with Marlon Wayans?
where she's getting fucked by the.
Where she's getting
demon.
fucked by the
didn't see
demon
that.
and he's
I
sitting
didn't
there
see
watching it.
Yeah.
I didn't
And
see
he's
that.
like horrified.
Watch them. They're
Was he
hilarious.
rocking their ass?
Yeah, they're hilarious.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, they are funny.
All right. Is that the one where the light skinned dude's like, he brought the gangsters over
Yeah,
to get the
he's
demon?
like,
I don't give a fuck.
Yes,
You
that
should.
movie.
Yeah. I don't give a
You let a
fuck.
demon fuck your girl, guys?
I'm up in here, homie. And he said, homie. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I got y'all.
Funny as shit.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you right now. I had my eyes closed. I knew when the parts were coming. I didn't see old buddy puke, but I could hear it. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought it was crazy because as that movie continued, I didn't know. So I watched half of the first movie. I cut it off when he walked through the kitchen and all them people was dead at the kitchen table.
Mm-hmm.
That I said, I'm done. This shit's it's just I'm done. So I cut it off. I didn't see the second one or third one whenever this man was dressing up following the main character. What was that?
Are you talking about the transgender ghost?
Yeah. What was up with that?
So I kind of have questions about. To me, it kind of seems like that. So we learned about the origins from that transgender ghost in the second film, and it's been a while since I've seen it. But if memory serves, that was also a previous mental health patient, and I think at the same hospital maybe that the dad's dad was from.
All right.
Wow. So they knew each other.
I think it's all interconnected in some kind of way. But what I don't understand is why that transgender spirit was so keen on killing Elise. And I don't really know why he's resurfaced. I don't know if that's homage to just say that he's always there and can never be defeated. I'm not really really sure myself.
Plot convenience, perhaps?
Yeah, it could be that too.
Elise is the wife, right?
Elise is the medium.
The medium
that died.
Got you. And he wanted to kill her.
Yes.
Probably because she found his ass and told on him. You know, that's why he wants her dead. Bitch, I was doing fine till you came along. You know, some shit like that. I just wanted to know about it because I had all these questions in my head, and obviously nobody can answer them for me. You know, I was like, well, I know who I need to ask. You know,
well, so I definitely say the series definitely doesn't give a lot of answers. I think they leave it up to interpretation. So this might be just what we think, but you might be wrong.
I think some of it too is designed to like where you're always questioning, like you don't really know, and it leads like the door open to, are we going to find out in the future?
Right.
Don't know. We'll see.
Probably the next one, somebody finds that painting and something happens to it. It gets ripped and the door gets torn. And then all
I can see that.
Maybe that's why the dad and the grandfather should have died and that door would have stayed shut.
Well.
Shit. Yes. And I was thinking, why don't he just walk around the side? There was nothing on the sides. It was just a door in the middle of the room. What was on the sides? You know?
Darkness.
You'd have been on the other side and saw that demon. I'd have rocked his head.
Imagine if they had painted it shut and that demon just like went around to the side. Like,
that'd be some
did
shit.
work.
It would be funny if they did all this stuff to seal it and they're like, finally, son, we can live our lives. And then he goes like this, like on the, that'd be hell. If it ended like that, yeah. Or it'd have been funnier if the granddaddy was at the door pushing it shut and then it showed him getting drugged back by all these demons, grabbing his face and shit and dragging his ass back into the further. That'd have been funnier.
Screaming, no.
No, because he finally made his way to the door. For one time, he got near the door, and then they're dragging his ass back, and his boots are scratching on the ground and shit. That'd have been funny to me.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of fucked up. But so, are there any more interesting facts about the Red Door that y'all wanted to share?
I think I've stated all the ones that I found most interesting, which was that Patrick Wilson collabed with that song at the end. This was a film he directed. Also, Lee Wannell, I think is how you're saying his name right. I think he's also an Aussie, by the way. Mm-hmm. He's been the writers for Insidious the whole time. He's also Adam from the Saw movies.
What?
For the first Saw movie. Yeah, that's the same guy who's written the Insidious films. I think this is the first one he did not have any part of the script on.
Gotcha.
I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. And the fact that they had the cast from their original comeback,
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, that was good.
Like
all
that.
grown up.
Let's head over to The Nun. Okay. Now, if it's one movie that I will not watch because I did some research and found out what they call the nun, like her name.
Is it Valak?
Yes.
Yes.
God.
That name don't sound hot to you?
It sounds like she's going to rip your throat out. I just wanted to get some information from y'all because I haven't watched the movie. What like series is this in? Is this in the same series as in
Conjuring Universe?
The Conjuring Universe, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And when I went and Googled the real woman. That makeup really just accents her natural facial features.
A little bit, it does.
Yep.
Because she is just as terrifying in real life. But I want to share something with y'all. This is very ignorant, but I don't care. There's two women that I'm hoping I get hand jobs from in my lifetime. One is the girl that plays the nun. The second one is the woman from Love It or List It, that house show. She's from Great Britain or wherever. You know what I'm
The
talking
one
about?
with the guy?
The guy in the
that's going bald?
Yep,
I
and
know
then the
you talking
woman.
about- Yeah, I know you talking about.
Do you see that?
I can't.
Well, dreams do come true.
Why the nun girl? I just gotta ask, because
I think it's because
she's so old.
I think
Bony
I'm
hands.
so terrified of her. You know what I'm saying? And Is she not like 6'7" in the movie?
She is tall. I
is
don't know
tall.
the actual stats on characteristics, but she's tall AF.
All right, let me tell y'all something else. Lady DiBiase from that game, that video game. Y'all, it's got the vampires in it, but she's like 12 feet tall. Have y'all seen that? Lady DiBiase. Y'all can look it up. It's some video game. I forgot what it is, but she's a giant vampire in this game. And somebody went in and did some freaky shit to where when you find her, she tries to seduce you, but somebody reprogrammed it, and she's got her like titties out, and you're like this big compared to her, and she picks you up and like puts you in her bosom and shit. Now, I'm sitting at home watching all these edits on this game, and I'm like,
You don't need Pornhub.
I'm about
You don't
to see
need-
some damn blue fucking unicorns.
Who needs Scooby Doo when you got this?
Yeah. Weston, can we pull that up? I can try to spell it for you. Lady
DEBUSSY, maybe.
Lady DiBiase.
Is it DEBUSSY?
I think video game.
I don't know if I'm spelling it right though.
Weston wants a sandwich. He's hungry. There she is.
Oh,
All right.
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil. That's the
Okay.
game. Okay. So when you find her, all right, when you go into the room where you find her, she is massive, like 12 feet tall. She's a vampire. She's very like from a time period with the big hats and stuff like that. And her little minions are like regular sized women, and they kind of lure you in, and they've trapped you in this house. Now, in the game, you're trying to hide from her, and you're like crawling through little passageways you think she can't get through. She just busts through it, grabs you by the leg, holds you up, but she's hot. So, I thought that was pretty cool. If nobody else knows what I'm talking about, you can do a little bit of research, and you'll go down the rabbit hole of this. You'll get to that video that I was telling you
There's
about.
a small part of me that wants to, but there's another part of me that knows I shouldn't.
Listen, how do you feel about that? Something you're going to look into? He said no.
That's the face of a man go, I know what I'm doing when I get home.
Yeah. By the time we see Weston again, after he watches that video of her with her breast out, he'll have a full beard again. He'll be locked up in his room. So tell us all things The Nun that y'all know about.
That I know about, and I just want to throw it out there. It's been a while since I've seen the Nun movie. I
Right.
know the second one is coming out this year.
Yes, I see that.
I can't wait.
But from what I know about the Nun, we first see the Nun in one of the Conjuring movies. She's originally seen in a painting, and that painting was so creepy. It was originally used as a jump scare, I believe, and I can't remember if it's not the
It's
first
her
one.
eyes, like her piercing eyes, and she's like, yes.
It's just her in general. Yeah. Like the eyes. Yeah. Cause it lightnings and then you see the eyes. I know you see that at some point, but then you see the Nun again in The Conjuring 2, I believe is when they go over to the UK, and she appears in that house. And that's when Lorraine has a premonition through Valak that her husband, of her husband being killed.
Oh.
She learns the demon's name, which is what helps Lorraine overpower the demon. And I don't know how she figured out the name, but I know she used a Bible and figured out her name is Valak.
Mm-hmm.
The nun's name is Valak. Then in the Nun movie, which has been a hot minute, a nun in training goes to this old it looks like an old abandoned monastery or whatever it's called, where the nuns go.
So they're showing her in her regular form at this point?
No.
Okay.
She's still very much a demon. And Valak is locked away at somewhere in this building. But the new nun in training goes there, and it's like she battles to overcome the evil with it. Mm. But it looked like previously no successful attempts were made from other previous nuns in training.
Now that's another movie that's coming. They don't show that she's locked away in this one, does it?
In the Nun 2?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what
Okay.
the plot exactly is going to be.
Okay.
It kind of shows that the same nun from the first Nun movie, it looks like she's coming back. And there in the trailer, there's this creepy scene where like all these pictures are like on the wall, and then the wind shifts them and they all form this weird looking picture. And then there's a jump scare. So I honestly don't really know what's going to happen in this second Nun movie. You don't really get clear answers. All you know is that Valak is a demon taking on a nun form.
So Valak, does she have speaking parts?
I have never heard Valak speak, only snarl and just
Actually, I have a general question for you. Obviously, we know like Ed and Lorraine Warren were real people.
Right.
And that Annabelle is a real thing. And most of the stuff from the Conjuring stuff was based off real things. Do you think the nun was based off a real person?
That one might be the only exception. I could be wrong, so I need fact checked, but I don't think the nun was based off any real life person.
Because I know Annabelle is real.
Yes.
That was based off real life
doll
case.
is real.
Yes, but she's a Raggedy Ann doll, though,
Right.
in real life.
Y'all have seen it, right?
We saw Robert. I know
Robert,
that
that's right,
Raggedy
Robert.
Ann is in their museum and that
Currently, I don't think it's open.
she is. No,
Now,
but
what-
she's behind a glass case and they got that bitch locked.
Now, wasn't Robert and Lorraine, weren't they killed? Weren't they killed doing some of the stuff that they're doing? Or is that
No, I don't think Ed and Lorraine were ever killed
right?
when they were working on stuff. But Robert, the doll, he brought curse and bad luck to people who were around him.
Yeah.
I remember y'all saying that on
Yeah.
the last episode. Yeah. All the people apologizing to him.
Yeah, yeah.
We're sorry.
Yeah,
Don't
yep.
hit us with a truck. Yeah. That type of thing. So in this Conjuring universe, everything's linked because the nun, Valak, is showing things that could happen to, who'd you say? She was showing the premonitions to.
Oh, Ed Warren, the husband.
Yeah. So that's pretty crazy, right? So they're looping all these together.
Yeah.
I'm almost so intrigued by the nun that I want to go see it because, like I always say, one of the movies that scared me to have a woman demon playing the not first person, but the main role was Dead Silence.
I love Dead Silence.
Okay.
Beware the stare of Mary Shaw.
Shaw. And my mom used to say, Mary Shaw. And I'd say, stop, please, right?
That's a good movie.
So I told my mom, I was like, what if we're driving through Christiansburg and one of these old timey buildings that they have right there downtown near the Old Town Mall and Mary Shaw's up in the window. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit was scary. And like when her husband went up under the stairs and didn't know, or her brother or whoever it was, and he was like, oh, quit calling me. And he went down into that little crawl space thing, drug his damn ass in there.
Yeah.
I was
Scary.
screaming. Buddy fell off the thing and tried to cover his mouth.
It was too late.
Too late. He screamed, took him, I'm going to tell you, I had a dream that I was at the top of a lighthouse. And I was so scared because I knew as soon as I made a movement that Shaw was going to come after me. In my dream, I could fly.
Heck yeah.
So I'm standing at the top of this lighthouse. I take off fast as I can. She is on my ass immediately.
Cover your
and
mouth.
we're just cover your damn mouth.
Yeah.
We're just blitzing through the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? And she was after me. Y'all check that movie out, Dead Silence. If you haven't seen it, it's a good movie. That was the first movie that I watched where a woman was killing people. And I was like, it's way scarier for a woman to do this shit than a man.
I got to throw this out to you. James Wan was involved in Dead Silence. I think he was a director for Dead Silence or a
Okay.
writer. James Wan also is directly involved in the Conjuring movies.
What?
And The Nun is part of the Conjuring universe. So I don't think Dead Silence and the Conjuring films are connected, but James Wan is involved in both.
Right.
So he's created both. That's probably why you made that connection. You probably see reoccurring themes.
I see it and I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? And the way they created Mary Shaw and just the story behind it. And like when they figured out that they were feeding that dude and he was dead.
Yeah.
And it was just going down into like a pit of nothing, like
Yeah.
when they put all that together in that movie, I was like, whoa, this is nuts. Right. So when I see The Nun, I think it gives me the same effect of scariness. You know what I'm talking about, right? How she looks. Her facial structure, her nose, her cheekbones, everything. I don't know how they found her, but I'm telling you what, she fits that role 100%.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. When it comes to like horror movie audition roles, people take that shit real
Real
seriously.
right, yeah.
I mean,
But I love it.
dang, his name.
Bill Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård. When he was going to audition for Pennywise, he was the only one that showed up fully dressed as a clown.
Oh,
And
he
did
wanted
the
to show
audition
them.
as a clown.
Wow.
But he also had you see in the movie where he looks like his eyes do weird movements. In real life, Bill Skarsgård actually can do that.
Yeah.
So that wasn't CG. That was him actually doing that.
Or like the guy that plays the creeper, how he showed up to his audition, didn't
Sniff-
say a word,
yes.
and just like
Yeah.
got up and everybody didn't say his name, just went up.
Right. Yeah.
People,
I did that
I
in
bet-
Walmart, but
I bet the nun. I bet she.
I don't think it went the same way. Yeah, I was just checking on you, man. So, the nun, what can defeat her?
I think that is yet to be discovered.
Yet to be
Honestly, at this
Okay.
point with any of the movies,
Right.
do you really ever win?
Right, yeah, that's true.
You might win the battle, but do you win the war?
Right. I always tell Tonio, like, just shoot these fuckers. Right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that work?
I don't think so.
Like the nun shows up in your doorway and she's and I hit her with a buck, like, wouldn't that work?
How did this go?
I mean,
Even?
part of me thinks that
I'm a
since
damn sure
the
try.
nun is obviously religion based, that
Right.
some kind of scripture would be what overpowers the nun.
take
You would
that,
think
right.
that.
Right.
But we've kind of already seen that done in the first Nun movie, and all it really did was keep it at bay.
Bay.
Got you.
Not
So,
really overpower.
I need to watch the first Nun, right,
Mm-hmm.
to understand. So obviously, in that movie, does it show her without the costume stuff? Sorry, at first, and then when she's possessed.
Not that I recall. No.
Okay, so it just shows possessed.
Yeah.
And how does she kill people?
It always occurs behind like a closed door. So when she would do her murders, she would I keep saying Valak would grab the victim and like shove them in the locked door that Valak was being held in.
Okay.
And it would occur off screen. You don't see it.
So the nun is feeding people to something else that's locked up.
Well, Valak, him or herself, is the one locked up. So
Okay.
I don't know
She's
if,
kind of feeding herself.
yeah.
Probably
So
just
she would grab
feeding
and
on
pull them
soul.
taking
in.
her soul. Yeah.
Right.
That's what I would figure.
We don't know how they're really killed, but they're
Right.
it
Can
happens
you
off
really
screen.
kill something that's already dead? Like generally,
I don't think so.
you know what I mean?
Right.
You know,
That's and so I think my curiosity from it was just I'm so intrigued by it, but I won't watch it. You know,
I mean,
It's
eventually
really not bad.
these series have to end. Like they have to win,
Right.
or
It's
lose.
something
at
has to
some
come out.
point.
Yeah.
Like I will say, like out of all the Conjuring universe movies, The Nun for me kind of ranks like towards the bottom. Like
Gotcha.
I don't dislike The Nun, but if I had to rank them all,
Right.
I would rank it above Curse of La Llorona. I wasn't real crazy over that one,
Right.
but I think the Conjuring movies themselves and the Annabelle, I love those like way
Right.
better than The Nun.
Yeah.
I got a question for you, Derek.
Yes.
and Antonio too, because I wanted to bring this up because me and Hannah were talking about it a little bit, and it's more of a just like an opinion question. So, horror movies, just in general,
Yeah.
follow trends through the decades.
Yep.
So, for example, when horror movies first started in like the 20s and 30s, it was about human deformities. Like
It's
that's what
silent
everybody
era.
was scared of. 40s was monsters. 50s was atomic, nuclear radiation. 60s really didn't have a theme. That was just kind of like the Wild West.
Okay.
Because color had just come
Yeah.
in.
Right.
And everybody was just kind of experimenting. 70s was animals, like Jaws. I don't know why. 80s is slashers. 90s
course.
is found footage. 2000s to 2010s up kind of zombies.
Right.
Everybody, I mean, zombie movies were everywhere.
Yeah.
And
And
now,
ever since 2010, primarily Paranormal Activity started it.
Okay.
Paranormal is the thing. That's what everybody's scared of. That's what
I
most of the
also-
horror movies are coming out.
Paranormal.
Paranormal Activity, Insidious, Conjuring. Well, Paranormal Activity already ended. Conjuring and Insidious are kind of starting to wind down.
Right.
And we're starting to get towards the end. What is the next one that comes out? The
Ooh,
next
me.
trend.
me. My personal opinion, cultural horror. We see this with The Purge
Get
about
Out.
having no government.
Right.
Get Out, and we see Jordan Peele's work, racism, and
All
how
that. Yep.
I mean, it's just how society treats people differently, or what would happen if society, and even with us, what would happen? That was more of what would happen if we all have clones or doppelgangers, and they're all underneath there. I
Right.
think it's more of like cultural type of.
That's what my biggest fear
Or
is.
society.
Somebody in charge of this nation. They broadcast every TV, every phone, all at once comes over and they say, "This is an official announcement. Get all them blacks out of here. Get them, get them, get them, get them." And when they announce that, right?
Y'all coming to our house.
Where are we
Coming out.
gonna be at? Are we gonna be in here? Look at Weston. You know what I'm saying? We going to Weston's
We
house?
got
You know
you.
what I'm saying?
Y'all be safe with us.
That'd be crazy, right? Think
Yeah.
about that.
Going on live
Yeah.
now.
How many people would be an ally to us? You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't trust nobody.
All right, maybe that's a movie plot. They announce that me and Tony are filming, and me and him have to get home. That's the movie plot. Who we trusting? Zach Nagel pulls up. We trusting him. Nope.
Would you trust me?
I would trust y'all. Hell no.
I'm not
I wouldn't trust
trusting.
I would
nobody.
trust
Tony
you.
don't trust
I wouldn't
nobody.
trust
He
anybody.
wouldn't
at
even
that
trust
point.
me
Yeah, I
to
wouldn't
get him
trust
home.
anybody
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah.
My life was on the line.
I love me.
Yeah, I love me some me.
What do you think the next trend is?
I think the next trend is going to be. I think they're going to loop back into that torturing class again.
Saw.
Like
What-
Hostel. Saw.
Yeah, Hostel bothered me to the core. I really feel like because of these other movies that are coming out right now, that they're highlighting that a lot of stuff goes in our society without us really knowing about it. They're going to shed light on that, and I think in a darker light, and there's going to be some more movies surrounding that.
What do you think, Antonio?
I would say something like mind control.
Oh, that's a good one.
Ooh.
We see some of that in Jordan Peele,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
with Get Out.
All right. That new movie too, they cloned, have you seen the preview? They cloned, what's it called?
The Tyrone movie.
Yeah, they cloned
I'm in the
Tyrone.
middle of it right now.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of
Is
it
it
right.
good?
It's pretty damn good.
Okay.
Jamie Foxx is in it, and
Have y'all seen the preview for that?
I think vaguely I remember seeing a preview for it.
So they, I think in the movie at one part, they're sitting there eating, and they look around the restaurant. Everybody's laughing. They're eating chicken. Everybody's like in this trance, and he's like, slaps everybody's hand, like, "What? Just don't eat it." And literally, we know that our government allows certain amounts of rat pellets, human DNA,
Dude.
toenails. There's a certain amount of. There's a certain amount of shit that they
Carcinogens.
allow. Carcinogens. Yeah. If you cook meat at a certain temperature, it's like you're eating cigarettes because we're boiling the flesh of an animal and it's releasing toxins, right? So there's a bunch of stuff that they allow us to do that they say is within range of human consumption, right? So then the programming behind that, right? Because one dude was making a comparison to when he was eating more of like the guy said you should only eat things that can naturally decay. How long can you have celery in your fridge? Apples, things that are going to decay because
Fruits and
the
vegetables.
life in them,
Yeah.
right? Eating living things gives you life. Eating dead things makes you feel a certain type of way. So people that are sometimes struggle with like depression, anxiety, and stuff like that, they've been doing studies to directly pinpoint that to chemical reactions within our brains, within ourselves, and stuff like that. So that's a good point. You know, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, it's
brain-
interesting.
What do you think that they would have everybody doing if they can control our brains?
I don't have a clue what they were doing. What do you think?
I think, wouldn't it be scary? So I'll share this. In the movie Event Horizon, there's a guy on YouTube that told people to go and slow down frame for frame the part where they watched the video of what was captured inside that ship when it went wherever it went. In those 10 to 12 seconds, if you watch that frame by frame, it's some of the most disturbing stuff you've ever seen. And it goes like that on the regular movie because you see a little bit of stuff, but it's like everything that I think the Bible would speak against happens in that frame. Like sodomy, murder, all these things play. It's almost like that ship went where it went. Everybody lost their morals and all this demonic stuff came
Yes.
into that ship. So in that 12-second frame, everything that's happening is stuff that like the Bible speaks against.
So that kind of goes into my point again. I don't know if cultural is the right word or society,
Yeah.
but breaking those rules and then the results and consequences of breaking those rules.
Oh, breaking those rules. Yep.
Yep.
And on that part, I'm going to leave. She won't let you. Motherfucker, yes, she is too.
Move, bitch.
Yeah, I'll blow this ship up with us on it. So what we looking like on time? Okay, we're good. So getting to the meat and potatoes that I wanted to get into. You guys brought some amazing stuff. I'm not going to touch this too
You
much.
already
You want me to-
touched it
you want me to
multiple
touch it?
times.
Look up there, though.
No, I'm good.
You want me to show it to the camera?
You
So
please.
see the pages?
Yeah, I'm going to let
This
y'all
was
look.
my birthday present.
Don't read it.
Yeah. So this is... Yeah.
This
like
is
my granny
a
says, that's that whammy bammy. So explain this for our
this
viewers.
is a replica of the Necronomicon, aka the Book of the Dead from the Evil Dead.
Bound in human flesh, written in blood.
He started reading it, and then the DJ was like, "Wick, wick, wick."
Dude, do you remember when that little kid was like, I think this is my fault? You know what I said? But he's like, damn right it is. It's your fault.
I love an Evil Dead Rise. We were talking about this in our podcast
Open
episode.
up now. Yeah.
Yeah, when he replays the incantations. I love that scene because it's over that surround sound.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
You can feel
Sorry.
the bass in your ass. Like, and it's
Right.
so eerie. It's old sounding. It sounds like something you don't want to mess with.
Wow, that was your birthday present. That's awesome. It's really awesome. Hey,
Hey, I mean,
you're a real one for that.
Yeah,
We-
he's romantic.
Yeah.
I give him that.
I try to set the bar for Christmas or presents, and I know
The
what she
bar is
wanted,
high.
so.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
If anybody tries to come to her and they're like, "Hey, I got you a Walking Dead comic, 1 of 1," she's gonna be like, Psh.
My husband got me at the Necronomicon.
She's like, "I got a book
Dude.
of spells, bitch, at my house." You know?
A few of my brother's girlfriends hated me on Christmas because they'd get him like a nice polo shirt, like "you're gonna look so cool," and I'd be like, "I gotta fuck you. I got you a Charizard card signed by this," and
he's like-
he'd throw their shit away.
Right,
Like,
yeah. Charizard card. Yeah. Shout out Pokemon, by the way. Yeah. And so getting into one of the movies that you researched for me, and I appreciate this. If anybody knows, shout out to my mom. My mom introduced me to a horror movie back in the day. It has stuck with me in my top 5. Bram Stoker's Dracula, featuring Keanu Reeves when he was young. And what's the other older guy's name? Anthony
Anthony
Hopkins.
Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins. There's a lot of big.
What's the guy that plays Dracula's name? Shoot, his name's leaving me right now.
You're more the pro with Bram Stoker's Dracula than me.
He played Sirius Black in the Harry Potter series.
Ooh,
What's his name?
We've got a face, though. We've
got a face.
You know what I'm
right?
talking about?
Yes.
So, I do have some facts for you about the movie. Number one, the reason they called it Bram Stoker's Dracula.
I say Bram. Excuse me, Bram.
Well, you can call it whatever
Either
you want.
or.
I think
Either
either
or.
one is a correct
Just like
pronunciation.
McAdoos or Mockadoos
Ain't nobody saying you say Mockadoos.
on that radio.
I'm
I
gonna
say
be honest with you.
Mackadoos,
Come on
'cause
down
I'm
to
going in there
Mockadoos.
I know quite a few people that call
Right.
it Mockadoos.
It
And I'm
is
like, it's
Mackadoos.
just to be there. Mockadoos.
I know.
Shut the fuck
Listen
up.
to the radio and now it's
Right, yeah,
radio.
yeah.
The reason they named it Bram Stoker's Dracula and not just Dracula is because Dracula is actually owned by Universal, and this movie wasn't Universal.
Oh.
So they wanted to not get sued.
Gotcha.
So they're like, we're gonna put the author's name. That way they can't be like, hey, you ripped off our movie.
Right.
That way they couldn't do it. So Jonathan Harker, the guy, oh my God, Keanu Reeves, his character.
Yes.
Who could forget?
He
Keanu
was-
Reeves?
He's an interviewer.
He-
a report. Yeah.
Originally wasn't cast for that role.
Really.
It was Johnny Depp.
No,
Johnny
Whoa,
Depp
that
went
changes
for it.
everything.
And then, believe me, we're going to get into that.
all right.
So, but then they ended up choosing Keanu Reeves. And in my opinion, I think they probably should have stuck with Johnny Depp because Keanu Reeves has even said, this was not my best movie. He was kind of, out of all the characters, he was probably the most bland.
He was, and it kind of gave you, and even his commentary when he was narrating, right? You kind of get this kind of lull point going through it, you know what I'm saying? And I think he speaks the same way, and he's like, even in The Matrix, he speaks a certain way.
Yeah.
In John Wick, he speaks a certain way,
Yeah.
and he spoke that way too. He's amazing. But Johnny Depp,
Yeah, Johnny Depp was,
when I saw him in Sleepy
he
Hollow,
auditioned for it.
That was good.
But then they decided to go with him. Also, so Anthony Hopkins as Van Helsing, he was not originally cast for that role. The reason he got that role was because of Silence of the Lambs,
I bet
because he did
so.
such a good job,
Yeah.
and they're
the
like,
nice candy.
That was
we
a good
need
one.
him.
Right.
Originally cast in the role was Liam Neeson. He
I
auditioned.
have an exceptional set of skills that I will use to get your wife to show me her tits. Like, you know, no, that would have been trash. You know?
Can you imagine a world with
I will
Liam
find you.
Neeson and Johnny Depp?
Right?
You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
That'd
But
be weird.
you pointed out something really cool. I didn't know that Anthony Hopkins' character was based upon Van Helsing because they released a whole nother Van Helsing, right? Where he's, you know.
And then for the role of Dracula, there was a lot of people that auditioned for that role because I mean,
Right.
that's a big role.
And it was 2 different people.
So, I don't know why his name is leaving me right now.
Why did all the women in this movie have such ginormous tits?
I don't know.
Having sex with that old ass motherfucker.
Yes, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
he's a pimp. Dracula had hoes, Tonio, in this movie. And I'm talking about blood sucking hoes. I'm talking about big titty vampires. Now, I don't want to become a vampire, but if I'm getting a room with velvet sheets and shit, and they're just gonna rub their titties all over me all day, I might consider it. I'm gonna be immortal till you cut my head off, right? And everybody, Bram, however you want to say it, go check this movie out. It's amazing. It's timeless. One of my favorites, but yeah.
People that auditioned for Dracula and were considered but didn't get it. Nick Cage.
Holy cow.
Renfield.
Is his name Anthony? The guy that plays Puss in Boots.
What?
Antonio Banderas.
Antonio
Yeah.
Banderas. He auditioned.
That would have been scary, though.
He auditioned.
Him with fangs, like,
Well, he was in Interview with a Vampire, and that's the reason they considered him, because he played the Dracula-ish character. Oh, God.
she's crying.
Oh,
She's
God.
crying. Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. Yeah. But wasn't he in, I was messing up. He wasn't in From Dusk Till Dawn.
That's a good movie, too.
That's an awesome movie.
Yeah, that is a
I
good
love
movie.
that movie.
Right.
The reason he was considered was because of, you ever seen Interview with a Vampire?
Yes, that's amazing.
His character in that
With
is
Brad
based
Pitt?
off Dracula. It's not Dracula, but it's based off of Dracula, and he did such a good job, they considered him for the role.
Right.
The thought of seeing Johnny Depp, Liam Neeson, and Nick Cage all being in the same movie, in a vampire movie, just, I kind of think it would be kind of cool.
It would be kinda cool.
A little
Listen.
bit.
Credit to Weird Side if you steal that idea.
Right. Yeah. They came up with it first. Listen, Weird Side. Hey.
So we can get some money and give it to Steak and Sauce too.
Right. Yeah. We need it.
Winona Ryder actually wasn't going to do the movie. She was actually going to do Godfather 3 instead, but then chose not to. It's like,
Wise choice.
And
I'm
why?
gonna
And
do
you know
this.
what? She's always like the little
Goth
thing
girl.
that somebody's going after. You know what I'm saying?
And do you know the girl, you mentioned Dusk Till Dawn. Do you remember the little, like the sister in that movie? I can't remember her name.
Yes, I know the character.
She was originally cast as Lucy.
Really?
Yep, but then they changed their minds
Right.
on her. The entire movie has no CGI. All of
Hell
practical
yeah.
effects. Everything you see is practical.
Well, we were
I
talking
love
about that
practical
before we
effects.
started. Everything was practical. There's a part where, these men, these hunters, they got their guns and stuff, Tonio, and the werewolf, Dracula, he can take so many different forms.
Mm-hmm.
And he shows himself in many different forms.
Yep.
One of them obviously looks like this right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see a first person shooter, him running through this courtyard,
Mm-hmm.
to get to this woman, and he is sexually seducing her, and she's allowing it to happen, right?
I'm gonna be completely honest with you, and I'm not trying to be weird or anything. If I had the choice between I always forget his name. Keanu Reeves
Yes.
in that role or that sexy motherfucker,
Right.
I don't blame her.
Right. Right. Yeah. Which
That
one?
motherfucker was hot. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Which one you going for? Right. The guy with the glasses and the long hair, and he got poetry.
I mean, like the
Every
way
time he talked to her was poetry.
I'm
My
Prince.
love, I have ridden 1,000 years.
And he got that passion, so he's
Yeah.
probably gonna put something on.
Like,
it.
why would you
Yeah,
get?
yeah.
It's been hard for 1,000 years.
Why would you want to be with boring Keanu? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I bet he like looks her in the eyes when they make love.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
The-
And then
Better boy.
he just shows up, he just tips that hat off. He's like,
You better know what I got. Yeah.
I'm Prince.
I
don't blame her.
Yeah,
I
need
got
that.
that. Yeah.
I need that.
He's a soul stealer.
And of course, the opening scene with the Turks and all that.
Yes.
That was really
That was
what
crazy.
really happened.
To give you some backstory into that,
So
right?
Dracula is based off Vlad the Impaler, and everything you saw in that is historically accurate. So the reason he kind of got that reputation is because he really did shove giant stakes up people for miles, and to come to his castle, you had to go through a forest of corpses hanging on those things. That really is what happened.
So that would kind of
Evil.
cause you to be kind of,
That's
I'm
why
a-
people didn't fuck with him.
Yeah, I mind my P's and Q's because I don't want to end up on a stake.
And he really
Yeah.
did do that.
Right.
Obviously, he's not really a vampire, but
Right. That other movie where
Inspiration.
Vlad the Impaler was doing that to people, and he went to seek the power from the Dracula in the Mountain. I forget what that's called. The guy from the Lord of the Rings. He was the bowman. He plays Vlad the Impaler, and he goes to the mountain to meet Dracula to get bit and get his strength to
Really?
conquer his enemies. I'll find it. I'll send it to you guys. Dracula asked him, "What did you feel when you conquered your enemies?" He said, "I felt nothing." And Dracula picks him up by the throat. He said, "Lie to me again, and I'm going to split you from your loins to your throat." And it's like nails grew really long. And he was like, "All right, I felt immense power. Like I felt great." I'm going to remember the movie. I'm going to send it to you. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
But in Bram Stoker's one of the parts that's really, really significant to me is when they were trying to, he was almost controlling humans and they were rushing him to the castle because the sun was coming up, right? And he is almost coming alive because he was like in the casket in the dirt.
Yep.
And that transformation from him being a young man, long black hair, little sunglasses on, you know what I'm saying, to that old white haired man,
wrinkly ass
with all these
dusty ass.
hoes. Yeah, dust.
Ugh.
What was that? Was that showing him at a younger age, and then, or is that the form he would take to talk to people?
So Dracula, it depends on movie to movie, and this is just vampires in general. Vampires, depending on the movie that you watch, can change their form, can change their age. They can do that. I don't know the advantages to being an old ass man like that.
Right.
Don't get it.
Just a
I don't get
401k.
it. But
That's it.
obviously,
Practical
they can
effects
change form to like make you more, kind of get you to come closer to do all these things.
Right.
And as far as like the shape shifting, yeah, he can do that. Everything about him is supernatural. Even things he interacts with that aren't supernatural become supernatural. So his shadow, when he's moving over here and his shadow's doing stuff,
Right.
it's because everything around him or he touches becomes supernatural in a way.
So that's why his shadow's kind of separated from him?
Yes, that's why his shadow kind of does whatever the fuck it wants, and
Right.
he doesn't really control it.
Yeah.
Or other things like him breaking the mirror, he can do that.
Because the reflection, right?
He's always been able to transform into werewolves. I know you mentioned that. He
Yes.
can do that. Mist, he can do that. I mean, he can really do any animal he
And
wants.
he traveled as Mist. He
can do whatever he wants.
In this movie, did they show him as a bat?
He doesn't do...
Doesn't he morph into like an old bat
Yeah,
looking
he does
thing?
morph
Yeah.
into like a giant bat thing. He does like the pile of rats. They do the mist. They do the beast. And as far as like the soil wise, that's accurate too. Most vampire movies don't get this right, but vampires can't just sleep in a coffin. That's not how that works. They have to sleep in the earth from their own country. That's why he was moving it all. So he could actually sleep there. Because if he did, he would die.
So are we saying Salem's Lot is an exception to that rule? Because
Well, there's a lot of movies that
Ooh,
don't get
Salem's
that.
Salem's Lot is my favorite vampire movie.
Shout out to my mom. They are still traumatized on that movie.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
That
scary
freaking
as
little
shit.
boy.
What is, yes.
Let me in.
Yes. Yeah. No,
dude,
floating
that's
up
freaky.
beside my window, I'd have shot his ass.
With his Antonio. Derek, let me in.
I would tell you right now, Antonio comes scratching on my door talking about, Derek, let me in. Okay, come on in.
I have thought about doing stuff like that, but I know you would shoot. So I couldn't do anything like that.
Antonio!
And then the last, I think, bit of information I have is, so do you know the scene where Lucy's dead and they're going down into her crypt to go open the coffin?
Yes, because they have her dressed up nicely for her funeral. Right?
That's half the reason that they won that Oscar. Her dress is beautiful.
It's that
no,
blue?
they didn't win an Oscar. They won a Grammy. My bad. They won a Grammy for this movie because the costume designs were so well done.
They were perfect.
So that scene, they didn't tell that little kid what she was going to look like. They wanted like the reaction to be genuine.
Right.
So that little kid wasn't told anything. So she just showed up like that and picked up that kid. That kid freaking out is real.
Is it real?
It's real. He's freaking the fuck out.
Yeah, like, he was spazzing.
Hashtag
Like her
traumatized.
makeup and everything
Yeah.
was done so well.
Yes.
That once the take was done, they had to get the director and Anthony Hopkins to calm the kid down and be like, "It's not real."
Oh, he's done for. Yeah.
Traumatized for life.
Yeah. That childhood trauma set in at that
Yeah.
point.
And her performance, like when she's like, "Jonathan," like what was
Yeah.
his name? He's like, "Come to me,
come to me. Yeah.
come to me." She's freaky as fuck.
Yeah. And when they saw her in the coffin and everybody's standing around, they thought she was dead. Anthony Hopkins is there and her lover was there, right? He didn't really want to hurt her, but she's not the same form anymore.
No.
So Anthony was doing everything he could. Take her head, take it, you know what I'm saying? And finally he lopped it, right?
And weirdly enough, the last I remember this other one. So do you know the ending when Winona Ryder and him are in that castle? She's like, "I love you," and she takes that sword, she just cuts his head off.
Yep.
You know who ideas that was?
Who?
Keanu.
George Lucas, the director of Star Wars. That was his idea. He was on set and he's like, "Yeah, we could stab him, but what if we chopped off his head?"
Which
Like,
is that's crazy that he thought of that.
Yeah, that was his idea.
And the fact that kind of symbolizes the end of that because there's no return from him for decapitation, right?
Yep.
Like he can't just put that back on.
Nope.
Right?
Yep.
So that's crazy.
So the reason
The
that Star
man-
Wars exists is the reason he got his head chopped
The
off.
reason he got his damn head cut off, yeah. I remember me and you and Chris was in the theater watching one of those Star Wars where they were going, yeah,
original
yeah,
one.
yeah, 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 yeah. And
When
we sung that song.
Anakin,
And
meets, queen or princess, whatever her
with the
name
little
is.
red lips.
Yeah.
Prince- And he was driving those damn.
Because you knew he was gonna get it, and you was like, "He gonna get that butt."
I knew it. I knew he's gonna get that butter. When Anakin looked at her, and he was young, and Anakin was flying them things,
I was
I
gonna
said,
say,
he's gonna get that nap butter. I
The
told
whole
everybody,
way
what
home,
about
you was talking
the
about
age
it.
gap between Princess Leia and Anakin?
Yeah.
you ain't lying.
That's an age gap right there.
Yeah.
He's older than me.
2 years.
Cougars are where it's at.
Yes, it is. I feel you on that one. Yes, sir. Yeah. And when Jar Jar Binks was in there, they gave him that Jamaican accent. We was laughing our asses off, right?
Yeah.
You know? And then I'm telling you, they showed us that there's an Atlantis in real life because what they do when they got to that lake, they put those breathing apparatuses in and swam down to that other whole thing down there. They be hiding shit in plain sight.
You know, Star Wars is inspired by horror movies, right?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know
So,
that.
obviously, you know the prequels, Count Dooku.
Yes.
Dooku.
Count Dooku.
Doo-doo.
Count Dooku is played by Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee played Dracula in the 70s. That's why he's called Count Dooku, Count Dracula.
Count
Oh,
Dracula.
shit.
Because he played Count Dracula. And then the scene where Anakin becomes Darth Vader when he's like taking his first steps. He's like, no.
Right.
That's a reference to Frankenstein when he first gets up and learns how to walk.
Oh.
That's what that was from. Because
Did y'all
George
know
Lucas was like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I got all this from.
That's
I didn't know that.
And then the Peter Cushing was in the original Star Wars. He played Van Helsing alongside Christopher Lee in the Hammer films in the 60s and 70s.
wow.
That's crazy.
And I know we're right at our limit. I wanted to speak about this right quick. You brought this prop. This is your favorite movie.
So
Go ahead.
This is you remember when we were talking about what movies that like shaped like hers was Jeepers Creepers.
Jeeps, yes, of course.
This is mine.
That's yours. Okay.
I'm not scared of a lot of things. I'm scared of werewolves. Like,
Right.
and the reason for that is because I watched this movie as a child, and I lived on a farm in the middle of nowhere where there were coyotes and they would howl all the time. I am absolutely petrified of them.
and this is Werewolf of London.
This is
right?
the best, in my opinion,
American
the
Werewolf in London.
best werewolf movie of all time,
Okay.
hands down, no questions asked. It got an Oscar
agree.
for its special effects when he transforms into this. It is so. If you want, after the podcast, I'll show you the
Okay.
scene where he transforms. It's so well done, no CGI, and it's so
All practical.
painful. And the way that he does it,
Is Tom Savini the one behind that one, or is it a different one?
it was Rick Baker.
Rick Baker.
Rick Baker.
Rick Beck. Okay. And I always like the song when I listen to it. Oh, Werewolves
Yes,
of London.
motionless and never mind. I thought you the motionless and white song.
Y'all know that song, right?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I love it, right? And the lyrics, when he's talking about it, if you really listen to it, I'm like, man, that's kind of messed up, in the song. But I'm glad y'all brought this. That's really cool, man.
And this
That was
movie,
actually from Evan.
yeah, this movie, like, there's a lot of
Shout out to Evan.
It's
Yes.
rough. Like, especially a lot of the scenes where he's having nightmares. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie.
I have not.
He's having nightmares when he's starting to realize he's becoming a werewolf, and
Fever
he's starting to
dreams.
have nightmares within nightmares. And there's scenes where like Nazi werewolves just
Yeah.
come and just slit his whole family's throat, and then he wakes up and he's like, "Ugh, that was crazy."
Yeah, that's nuts.
And then he transforms, and then it's like another nightmare, and it's another good special effects scene. His best friend does get killed by a werewolf, and that's why he becomes one. His best friend's neck got ripped open because of the werewolf that bit him. And when his best friend comes back and visits him as a ghost, he's still himself, but his neck is still ripped open, and there's like pieces dangling.
Oh.
And he eats toast. Talk to him. He's like, "So you're going to transform next week?" And the toast goes down his throat, and you can
shit.
see it.
Oh, my God.
It was. I mean, it's really well done.
That's crazy.
It's
It is
scary, but it's well done.
It's good.
I've seen a few people put things down their throats, and I could see it from the outside.
Antonio. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just playing.
No.
I got another scary movie for you. It's called Anaconda. Real scary.
Stupid shit.
That's a joke. I'm just playing. I don't want to get him in trouble. It'd be more like Blue Racer or whatever, them little fast snakes or whatever they are. That's what it would be like. But I know we're getting closer. Man, it's a blessing every time you guys come on here. It's so much information, and I love it. This is one of my favorite things to geek out on because I love this kind of stuff. Thank you, Taylor and Hannah from the Weird Side Podcast, to come and bless Steak and Sauce Podcast again. I know Weston's getting tired. I can see it. He ain't ate all morning. He's counting his macros, so he needs to get some food. This has been another episode of the baddest podcast in land. When I say that, I mean it because I feel like we're blessed with everybody to come on here to make this show what it is, right? We don't just have one standard of what we do. We like to dabble into everything. We can't do that without you guys and without y'all support. So once again, thank you, Taylor and Hannah.
Thank you.
Thank you, because we wouldn't be where we are
without you.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man.
Right.
Anybody that ever asked, Derek.
Listen to our show.
Derek.
Derek gets a shout out. Every
Hey,
episode, Derek gets a shout out.
Thank you so much. We just shouted you guys out on the last episode.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I just appreciate y'all support.
Yeah.
Y'all supported me from day one. You've supported me from. It's hard for people to tell you, me personally, how they see you. Like if you tell me, dude, you're awesome. You're doing this. You're doing that. I appreciate it. But it's like that imposter syndrome almost. It's hard to really
Accept it.
And know that, that these guys and all of us are here and we're doing our thing. So I really do appreciate that. If you have questions, if you have backstories, check these guys out. Subscribe to the Weird Side Podcast. Subscribe to Steak and Sauce Podcast. Hit that button for us so we can continue to grow. We thank God for our creativity. We thank for being here. Me and Antonio got the same clothes on. We don't care. We'll let y'all figure that out. If Wesley could come on the camera, he'd show you that too. No, I'm joking. But we thank you guys so much. We got more exciting episodes to come. We did hear from Cowboy Chris. He's going to be making another business trip pretty soon, so he'll be coming back
nice.
so we can catch up with him and ask him how his relationship is going, how him and his wife are doing. We're going to catch up on that. Make sure you watch this episode in its entirety, okay? Help us out with that as well. And until next time, you guys be blessed.